What's up, world? Welcome to the Positive Truth, uplifting positive news from a more progressive society. Tim, what are we trying to bring?
Here at the Positive Truth, we're trying to bring awareness, empowerment, inspiration, optimism, and understanding to communities everywhere.
We got another wonderful interview. We're back at the Rooted Barber Shop. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves and say who you're representing?
Sure. My name is Chaverri, and I'm the current artist in residence here at Rooted.
Yep. My name is Bruce Waight. I'm the CEO of Rooted Barber Shop.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you for having us again.
Yeah.
It's good to see you guys.
100% of this.
We want to promote your artist talk. So what is that, sir?
So our artist talk. So let me back up. First, we have an artist in residency program here at Rooted, and the idea behind that is to give an opportunity to local artists specifically of color, is what we try to do, to have a solo exhibit. We try to do it quarterly. This is new for us, so we're still learning. Maria is our second artist. We're so excited to have her here today. She's a photographer. She's amazing. And so the artist talk is like a party, I guess, get together, party, a fun time that we try to have, and we give the artists an opportunity to speak about themselves, the art that they do, kind of highlight them as an individual. It's also an opportunity for us to try to sell art and to get the community involved in what we're doing.
That's awesome. When did you have this idea?
Wow. So before we opened, when we opened Rooted, when we first got Rooted, we didn't open it yet. We were in the works of building it out, doing the build out process. And we had all this space, and I just didn't want to, disrespect to MJ or Magic or, I didn't want to put any sports memorabilia up or, I just didn't know what to do with all the empty wall space that we have. And we have a lot of friends that are in the art community, in the art world. And so we just, man, this would be perfect. And so we just kind of brainstormed, Vanessa and my partner, and we just brainstormed and came up with the idea to have an artist in residency.
So how successful was the first one?
It was amazing. So our first artist was a gentleman named Rico Young. He's a sketch artist. He does charcoal work. And it was really amazing. He was the first artist, so of course that's always special. And we just learned a lot with his artwork. And just this can be a business, right? One thing that we're proud of is that we don't take any of the proceeds, so the artist gets all the money.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for us, it's a win-win because we get beautiful artwork in our space, and our clients get to experience that. And then we're giving back, to our community. We're giving back to the artists, and so we don't want anybody to do that. But the artist talk specifically focuses on the artist and getting the community to know who he or she is.
Man, I think that's amazing. The fact that you're giving artists a platform to show their work to the community is just different. Not where I'm from, we don't have anything like this. Right. So that being said, Maria, you take photos, obviously, right? Is that what's going on here? Is that what you're showing?
Yeah, actually, it's really great when people talk about me in these situations because I'm always really interested to hear how they perceive me. Because, I don't really actually consider myself to be a photographer, first and foremost. I actually think what I'm most skilled at is walking. I think that when I travel, I'm really good about just walking. I do ridiculous things. I walked from in Myanmar, for example, I walked from Yangon, which is one of the big cities there. I walked 14 kilometers all the way to the airport.
Wow.
I do ridiculous things like that. I'm really good at walking. And one of the things that is so great about that is that it enables me to kind of really see the small things of a place, the normal, the everyday parts of life, which is something that I have found to be more rewarding in my travel than just showing up to the, big destinations and that kind of stuff. So a lot of the work that you see here, it was actually, none of these are from the very popular places in, the different countries. A lot of these pictures here are from Cuba, and none of these are actually this is maybe on the way to the old historical district in Cuba.
Right.
That was on the outskirts looking, out from an alley, those kind of things. This was literally I actually went on this trip with my parents. I was I'm coming to see you guys in Costa Rica. We're going to Cuba because I've always wanted to go. And the poor things, like I made them walk with me and it was hot. And this is like literally like Cuba is sparse. Like you get out of the tourist area too. This was in Trinidad, not in Havana. And you're just walking and there's all these kind of dilapidated houses. It's hot, it's dusty, there's not much. And I just saw these like colorful fruits. And then, in Cuba, they don't really have like big grocery stores. You can't just like find a place to go get snacks. Like that was one of the most surprising things to me, coming from America and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. And I just snapped this picture. And then you see this guy's hand, and that's the owner and he's there sweeping. And it's just those kind of like chance moments. I think I'm just really lucky and I'm just really good at walking and kind of observing those kind of things from like maybe a foreign culture that I think really connect to everyone, even if you're from a different place. So I think like I'm best at that, like opening myself up and being vulnerable to seeing like the humanity of like new places and people.
It's pretty impressive. The fact that, you were taking a picture of fruit and then all of a sudden you see his hand, just looking at that picture alone, your eye is amazing. And the fact that you're walking 14 kilometers is wild to me. I'm a runner and I love to run. I'll run all day, but I'm not walking more than a mile.
So on your website, Maria, it says that you like to empower others through education, community development, and art. You want to talk more about that?
Yeah. So first and foremost, I recognized that traveling and my opportunity to have been able to travel to so many places is a big privilege. It's not something a lot of people are able to do, which is why now that I'm back in Oklahoma, so I lived in Japan for 5 years. I was a teacher there. And
what did you teach?
I taught English in junior high school and elementary school. And, I really went to Japan because I wanted to travel. And so I did. And now that I'm back here, I think that I really want to share with people these amazing places that I've seen. And, even in, when I met other Americans there and stuff, people would always be like, oh, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from Oklahoma. And they're like, Oklahoma? Like, what's there? Tumbleweeds and stuff like that. So, now that I'm back, it's like, oh, I want to do the same for Oklahoma. So I think that's one way. It's like just sharing, these places that a lot of people will never get to see. I mentioned I'm also a teacher. So that's, like I said, I moved to Japan to travel, but that's really when I discovered how much I actually really enjoy teaching and being around, young people and developing people and that sort of thing. So that's always in me. And one of the things I've taken even further now that I'm back is I started art coaching as well. So, in Oklahoma, we do have very many talented artists, but they don't really know how to make it as an artist. And part of that has been that there aren't that many opportunities, which is why, what's going on here at Rooted is so amazing. Like to have a space, and specifically a space for artists of color, that's huge. That's huge. And so something that for me that we've talked about too, moving forward is like, I would really like to also be able to help those artists maybe learn some of the professional sides of art that they don't know, or that maybe, they didn't have the chance to go to an art school to learn and that kind of stuff. So those are kind of the ways that I'm trying to get back to the community.
So can I touch on that if you don't mind real quick? One thing she mentioned is being able to go to these different places and capture these moments. And I think that's the most beautiful thing that I love about her work, is to watch young people that, may not have traveled, that are, maybe have never been out of Oklahoma City. But now when they come here and they're simply just coming for a haircut, they get to really experience what it's like to be somewhere. And I think that's what's, just to see that look on their faces, especially children, and they're asking like, where is this from? And where is this at? That it speaks volumes. And so, I just want to mention that.
No, that's awesome. I can only imagine how that makes you feel, Maria.
That makes me feel great. Like that's the goal, right? I think, that's what art is about. It's about sharing and empowering and finding human connection. So
I've lived here for 30 years. Tim has almost lived here for 30 years. Growing up, there was like no place to promote art, like ever. We would drive around, try to find something fun to do when you're younger. There was no art, like no city art around. So you trying to promote that and push that, make artists more visible, it's just awesome. I remember when we were in school, they were cutting art programs.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that's just absolutely awesome. So what are you trying to bring to the artist talk that's a little bit different?
Okay, well, my artist talk, since I am an educator, I actually really like public speaking, and I really want to create kind of not just a normal lecture environment. I actually want to get the crowd a bit involved. So I'm not going to give away too much because, that'll ruin the surprise. But I think if you guys come to my artist talk, you will get a more like sensory type of experience. I think it'll be really fun, and there'll be a few surprises in there for you.
We should probably say this is August 17th.
Yes.
Rooted Barbershop. Okay. Probably should have said that earlier.
From 7 to 9, so please come. It's going to be really fun. I'm preparing something a little special.
It's gonna be fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, can you guys share with us any uplifting stories you guys had to, like with you taking pictures all over the world? I'm sure you had some pretty positive stories you came by.
Oh, there's so many. It's really hard to choose one. But there's a story that I really like to tell, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm in Indonesia, and I'm actually traveling from the Jakarta island to Bali island, and I'm taking a night bus. And so along with walking, because obviously I can't walk all the way from Jakarta to Bali, because that would take, I don't even know how many weeks. I really like using public transportation, and I took this bus that was like, man, it looked like a can of peas that, like, if you had taken the label out and like that can had been like busted and like oh man, I could not believe the like condition of this like huge bus, right? And you get in, and there's just like, they have like refitted the seats inside. I'm only 5'3", and my knees were like digging into the seats in front. And there's these just 4 little seats. Like there's the aisle and then another 4 little seats. And this is a night bus. It was like 13 hours. And so I was like, wow, okay, whoa, I hope this bus makes it. And I was like, we'll see how it goes. And I remember, the sun was setting, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to sleep because I gotta sleep on the night bus. And so I have my feet towards the aisle and like my head over here, and I'm falling asleep, and I just hear a bang, and I was like, oh, I knew it. I knew this is how it was gonna happen, right? And so I just startle up, and it is actually these 2 musicians. This guy, he's a singer and a guitarist, and the bang was like these like makeshift drums that the guy had made.
Wow.
And he's playing right at my feet, right? So it was like the jolt of my life. But it was amazing because they were so great. And like, I have no idea, I couldn't understand the language they were, but I felt like I connected to them. And like, I felt like he was singing like this profound, like unrequited love song. And it's so memorable. Like I'm still there, so many years later. It was such an amazing bus ride. So after this, right, there's more. It doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. No. Indonesia does not disappoint. So afterwards, they got off the bus, and I was like, that's amazing. Okay, and I like, I'm kind of sore because this is not a comfortable bus. So I turn the other way. My head's towards the aisle, my feet's towards like the windows. And I sleep, and eventually I like hear something, and I'm like, I think I'm like being woken up, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. And I feel like I've been sleeping for a while. And I finally look up, and there's a chicken just right in front of my face. Like there is a full-blown chicken face, like this far, like a few inches away from my nose. And I just look at the chicken, and I'm like, am I dreaming? And then I look up, and it's this gentleman, and he's holding 2 chickens in these baskets. And I sit up, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I realized the entire bus that was almost empty when I first got on is filled. There is not a single seat left. Like everyone in that community did not wake me up till the last possible moment to like let me sleep. And I felt like such kindness in that moment. And, so of course I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir, and he sat next to me, and he was very sweet. He tried to talk to me, but, we didn't have a language in common. So, and he puts the chickens underneath, but they're like right under my legs. And so this sweet man's there, and I'm just holding my bag because it's like maybe 1 a.m. and I'm just trying to sleep. But every time, this is a bus in Indonesia. The roads are not flat. So it's just so funny because every time we go over a bump or something, I just hear a and like I'm like, oh my legs, I'm like so worried they're gonna like peck my legs. But that was just I loved it. Like that is, you can't pay for that kind of experience, you know, like the humanity in that moment, the understanding of like, this is how someone else lives, this is how other people have music, you know, like that's not something I'll ever forget. I think it's very powerful, yeah.
I love that story. There's so much to take from that. For sure. Yeah, that was awesome. So what about yourself, Bruce? I know you do a lot.
Good luck following
that. Well, maybe I spoke too soon with seeing children come in. I think with Maria's exhibit, that's what really draws me to her work. I did a little bit of traveling growing up. My family's from Belize, so we have a lot in common. Belize is Central America. And so to have those experiences, it changed who I am as a person today, to be able to go to a place that I can identify with. You know, it's my family coming from. And so that's powerful to be able to get that. And when you speak about extreme poverty, that's not like what we're used to here in America. It's completely different. But the thing about it is you're in paradise, right? And so I would rather be homeless, if you will, in a country like Belize or the Bahamas or Jamaica, because you're in paradise and you can survive. You can get fruit off the trees and you can, go fish. You're gonna survive, and you're surviving in a beautiful environment. That's a hurricane or something comes right here. But I think her art does that for people when they come into this barbershop and to see children, because I know a lot of these children are probably that. So I think now, especially for Black folks, we're trying to travel, we're trying to get our kids out, we're trying to get them exposed. We understand that when you travel, your IQ level is higher because of your experiences, and I think you're starting to see that. But it's still amazing to see children when they walk in and they see this artwork and their eyes are like, why? And they're asking questions about it. Especially this one right here with the bridge. I never forget your dad told us that story about that's a bridge that they literally cross each day. And so just, that's the positive story, I think, is that it's making an impact with how, and maybe one day these children grow up and even if their parents can't afford for them to travel right now, when they grow up, they will remember this and they want to travel.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Hold up. That's a bridge people cross?
Yeah. I know, right?
Jojo, you gotta zoom in on that one.
Yeah, I'm definitely sprinting across that.
Hold on, what's the story with this? Because for everyone that's not watching.
It's a very tall bridge, so you don't feel like you're in danger. Unless you're really leaning over and then maybe you fall in, right? But no, actually, as a little girl, I remember going over this bridge several times. It's one that cars drive over, but of course, the alligators just love being there. So, everyone will walk across and see them. And last time I was there, there was a gentleman who he told me, he was like, "You see that big one?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's Tyson." And I was like, "All right, dude, whatever." It's just so funny, but it's for me, it was really interesting just seeing, when I was little, that's not something tourists knew about. That was just, we're going to another part of Costa Rica, so we got to cross that bridge, and they're there. So it's kind of interesting seeing how that's changed and developed, and it's great that that's something I guess people can see from a safe distance too.
Yeah, it's like you said bridge. I was like, am I looking at the right picture? So this is awesome. So we want to ask both of you about your future goals and future events that you have coming up, just to help spark the light, help promote them here. So what future goals do you have, Maria?
Oh man, well, a fortune teller in India once told me that my job was going to change very quickly, and I feel like that's happened. And I didn't really expect to come back to Oklahoma and be an artist, but I'm here, and this opportunity has been just amazing for me, because I was like, okay, if I can do this here at Rooted, maybe I should try, elsewhere as well. And I'm really excited to say that I have another solo show coming up at the Paseo Plunge in January of 2020, and I'm still a little shocked, and I'm very excited to say that I'm actually going to be the City of Moore's first artist in residence, starting now, but they haven't built the space yet, but the space will be built in March. So I'll actually have a studio there, and I hope you guys will come see the space, but
Absolutely.
I'm going to be there for about a year, so.
So what does that entail? So they're building you a space for you to make art?
So they want to, I guess, enhance the community, and so they are building this like new depot area where there will be like a coffee shop, juice place, and next to that is going to be an actual studio for an artist. And their idea is that every year they will have a new artist there. So, I will.
And you're the first one?
I'm the first one.
That's
Yeah, thank you. I'm really excited. It's so great to, I don't know, keep being able to share my work, and we're just gonna see where it goes. And I think I'll always still be teaching and art, being an artist coach and that kind of stuff. But
we're gonna be in March.
yes, please come. Really excited.
So you want to tell everyone where you can find all of your stuff at, like Instagram, social media, websites, all that fun stuff?
Well, sure. First, you gotta come to Rooted and see it in person. I think it makes a difference seeing it in person. I think photography is awesome because it's accessible. It can be online and it's beautiful online, but seeing it in person is a different experience. If you want to see my stuff from other countries as well, like Indonesia, you can get that at my website, which is just mchaverri.com, mariachaverri.com. Both of those work. I have a Facebook page, my Instagram too. That's all connected. You can find me there.
And everything is rootedokc.com. All of our handles are rootedokc. So, and you can find a lot of stuff there. Also, we have a website. The website features Maria. I think as soon as you click on there, you'll see her face. So you can find some stuff there. Everything to do with our artists in residency program there as well. Anytime you guys want to come in, it doesn't have to be for a haircut. Just come check out the artwork. And I believe we have some private tours that will be coming soon too for Maria's show. So expect that. Stay tuned to the website, and we'll have more information about private tours coming soon.
And it's all for sale, so you can take some of this home with you.
Yes.
Awesome.
We'll make sure all those links are in the description.
I believe it is time for my favorite question. I'll start with you, Maria. What is your favorite quote?
Oh, okay. I don't know if this counts, but so I recently went as an educator actually to Japan. I took 12 high school students on this exchange program, month-long exchange program. It was so great. They grew so much as young adults. It was really rewarding to be a part of that. But before I met them, I was at a week-long training in Vermont with World Learning. And there was another teacher there who had many tattoos. And he had this tattoo here that said, "We all try." And that's stuck with me since that moment. And I told him, I was like, "I really like your tattoo." And he's like, "What does it mean to you?" And I told him that I felt it meant that we're all doing our best. And we need to remember that everyone has their own story. And I thought it was a good lesson, a reminder to be compassionate.
And empathetic towards others.
Yes, definitely.
That definitely counts.
Yeah. Does that count? Okay, good.
Bruce, I stole your last one.
No, do I have a new one? Oh my God. So I have, okay. So there is a young lady that my fiance, Vanessa Morrison, really indulged in. She's a wonderful woman. She's a researcher. Her name is Brene Brown. And so at first I was kind of, I don't know about this one, but she's very intelligent. And so something that she has is called braving, and it's an acronym. And I'm not even going to get into it because I don't remember every single one. Let me see. I can't tell you every single one. But the more I think about, so you'll have to go look it up, what braving is. But the more I think about it and the more I think about being brave, a lot of times we think that this is a hero in a story, right? Mm-hmm. This person is being brave, but it's not that. It's really letting your guards down, brave enough to accept other people and what they do and their thoughts, their ideas, and not to be so objective. And so braving, go check it out, go see what the acronym means, yeah, it's very amazing in the way she explains it. I think you can catch that on like TED's Talk or something like that. She's on there doing that. So yeah, framing.
I'm gonna stick with it. I like it. I'm definitely gonna look it up. So I might steal that one.
So I think that's it for us here. Make sure to check out the Artist Talk August 17th, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Rooted Barbershop OKC. We appreciate everyone listening. We'll be back soon with more positive news. Until then, we're out.
Stay positive.